I bid you welcome.
I welcome you to my house.
Welcome to my house.
Welcome to my home.
Hello Horror Hounds, welcome to my horror house and welcome back to Jaws Scene by Scene. We're at scene 7 now, the shark and Sunday dinner, that I always mentally think of as the holiday roast guys. It's the scene that plays a little bit like a short comedy sketch, but there's still, as ever, an awful lot going on. So let's just dive in, shall we? The subtitles on my Blu-ray reliably inform me that the holiday roast guys are called Charlie and Den Herder. And I've always thought of them as sort of like the Abbott and Costello of Jaws. They've got their own little sort of down at heel, get rich quick scheme going on. They've got their little patter between them. It never really quite works out for Charlie and Den Herder, does it? This time they've got a knuckle-brained scheme to claim Mrs. Kintner's $3,000 bounty using a tyre and the roast that Charlie's wife has bought for the 4th of July holiday family meal. What could possibly go wrong? If you peer just below the surface of this brief, fun and fan favourite scene, you'll find that there's an awful lot of audience manipulation going on. Before we get into that though, I'll just note that as the scene opens, Charlie is having second thoughts and Den Herder says, "Don't worry, the chief lives on the other side of the island," cementing this idea of a small community where everyone knows everyone else's business. That's going to get flipped and underlined at the very start of the next chapter, but for now we're going to spend a little bit of time on a cold pier with Charlie and Den Herder in their latest get rich quick scheme. There's great work, as you would expect, in the sound design in this scene when we're introduced to them, the lonely whistling, the sound of the water, the distant baleful foghorn. This all seems like the setup of a campfire ghost story. I can actually imagine the old guy at the start of John Carpenter's The Fog telling those gathered children the story of Charlie, Den Herder, the Sunday roast and the killer shark, right before he tells them about, oh yeah, I've got this other story about these ghost sailors that you might like to hear now. And with the scene set, we get a little bit of their double act, which I just assume goes on all the time. And I imagine that Charlie's wife really hates it when she spends time with Den Herder, and Den Herder isn't married and is constantly trying to get Charlie to go out drinking with him or get him involved in all of these schemes. I've built up this rich life for these two characters because even the fringe and ancillary characters in Jaws feel so rich, earned and alive. And we get a bit of their banter here. We better catch something. This is my wife's holiday roast. Don't worry about it. $3,000 buys an awful lot of roast. And of course, come and get it! And this is where we start getting fed subconscious cues to make mental associations, starting with the barbed tip of that hook, going into the meat of that Sunday roast. We make a quick journey back to Chief Brody, who's flipping through still his book on sharks, and to the riffling sound of pages and John Williams' score, which seems to riffle along with it and talk of the majesty and wonder of the deep. We get a series of images, pictures, close-ups of great white sharks, a very canny shot of a shark with a scuba diver's tank in its mouth. It's going to pay forward at the end of the film. The shot of the huge megalodon jaws with the scientists standing inside it to just cement scale in our heads. And of course, finishing off with the pictures of shark wounds. So a succession of pictures of sharks bookended with hook going into meat and bite wounds from sharks on people's bodies, the horrible damage that can do. And now it's all keyed in. All of those images have slipped right in so that with just the broken end of a pier in the water and John Williams' score, we can conjure our own terrifying shark. John Williams' shark theme starts as the bait is taken and the chains start to play out into the water. Again, that's an image that will throw forward to events which occur later on the Orca. The music builds as the pier breaks and drags Charlie with it out to sea, but it's not the attack theme. As everything calms down and Charlie starts to swim back to shore, that piece of music dies down and the attack theme is saved for the glorious moment when, with an excellent piece of Foley work, there's a painful creak of warped wood as the pier turns and signifies that the shark is turning and coming back towards Charlie, and then the music just kicks in. Everything over the last couple of minutes has now primed us with poor old tired Charlie clawing his way back to the shore, and in our mind we're doing the mental calculation, oh my god, the pier's this far away, but there's going to be some chain, the shark's going to be closer to him than the pier is, and with his friend saying, don't look back, trust me, keep swimming. This is Steven Spielberg really flexing his muscles and showing you that he can make you scared by anything. He'll make you laugh one minute and scream the next, and usually when he's making you laugh it's so that he can set you up for a scream that's coming just round the corner. It's glorious stuff. And as the shark presumably thinks better of it, poor old Charlie's not even worth munching on and veers away, and he gets back onto the pier and the broken bit of pier washes up on shore. The soundtrack slows down like an excited heartbeat, becoming calmer and calmer again, and we're left as if it were a comedy sketch with Charlie repeating once again in the space of a few short minutes what is undeniably his punchline. Can we go home now? In the previous chapter we'd been introduced to a character who's going to become very important to the second half of the movie, Quint. We've had a short little comedy thriller interlude, and in the next chapter, chapter 8, The Expert, we fill out our triumvirate of lead characters for the second half of the movie, and we're going to meet Matt Hooper. I hope you can join me for that.